What if most ADHD symptoms are not actually brain disorder, but something hidden in plain sight?
Today, we're exposing the real causes behind ADHD symptoms and revealing how natural healing through targeted lifestyle protocols can transform your mental clarity and cognitive function.
If you have ADHD or you think you may have ADHD, you're drowning in inattention, maybe losing focus, forgetting crucial tasks, and just getting distracted by everything around you.
Impulsivity is destroying relationships, interrupting others when speaking, making regrettable decisions, acting without thinking. We all know people like that.
Perhaps the hyperactivity feels just tortuous. You're constantly fidgeting around, restlessness, inability to sit still.
Following instructions feels impossible because you miss details. You zone out during conversations and you can't complete any multi-step tasks.
Basically, life feels like chaos sometimes, just from the disorganization, just losing items daily, a messy workspace, maybe always running late.
Emotional regulation is completely broken. Sudden mood swings, explosive frustration, feeling like an emotional roller coaster.
Those are just a few, but quite significant symptoms of ADHD. And a lot of times when you feel that, what's the first thing you do is go to see the doctor, and they treat the ADHD symptoms like permanent brain chemistry problems, which require lifelong medications.
Stimulants like those type of medications, which you hear a lot of people are on.
Yeah.
So this approach ignores trauma, diet, sleep, and environmental factors that are actually driving the symptoms.
It really is a band-aid on the symptoms, and those root causes are hidden in plain sight that even the medical professionals refuse to look for.
Nobody's looking at it. Nobody's even thinking about it because in their mind, that has nothing to do with it. Diet and lifestyle has nothing to do with it.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But the breakthrough really comes to get through and understand these ADHD symptoms are often stem from, like you said, the root causes. I think number one is a big one, environmental and experimental factors. Like childhood stress, trauma growing up from the physical, it could be sexual trauma, it can be emotional abuse, substance abuse, abandonment. Something in the childhood just triggered something, just doesn't sit right.
And you're not dealing with it.
Yeah. And perhaps it's also a little bit of lack of sleep from just the way childhood has been.
You're not sleeping good.
Yeah. That's number one.
Yeah. Another one, I think it's a big one, is family dynamics, especially if you have a blended family that could have traumas which people in that family weren't made to feel comfortable in their new environment as a blended family. Some people do good, some people don't. Family adversity, such as a parent not being around, divorce, like we said earlier, parent problems, such as an illness. Have children and the parents are going through a serious illness and the kids are being affected. Unemployment from the parent, financial issues, an injury, any of those little things could throw off family dynamic.
Yeah, the big one too is in the modern day and age, the dad's not around, I mean, traveling or divorce, or that can have a really big impact on just how you would feel and operate in that environment. Number three is parenting practice. It's from the lack of discipline or inappropriate discipline that the parents take on a kid. Parents don't take care of themselves these days, and they really need to take care of themselves to show the kids exactly how to maintain calmness and set good examples. Got to be a real good example and a sense of calmness for that home environment.
How to deal with stress. Another one is school environments and expectations. It's like if there's a conflict with a teacher or the child is bored in the classroom, nobody's addressing the teacher nor the parent. They're trying to figure out how to get that child to want to learn. Each child learns differently. The expectation of the children are to grow up fast. From really kindergarten, you're taking tests.
That's really true, because you gotta let kids be kids. Little boys like to run around.
They can't sit still.
They're into this, they're into that. That is okay. So you don't have to pigeonhole someone and say that's not normal anymore.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know that they don't think to put their kids on a schedule at an early age, especially active boys. They need to be on a rigid schedule.
Completely. The fourth one is dietary factors. It comes down to you're eating an unhealthy diet full of inflammatory foods, from the dairies to the seed oils to the standard American diet. Anything in the box, a bag, ultra-processed foods.
Yes, with chemicals, food dyes, and additives. There's inflammation in the body.
Unhealthy and contributing to your ADHD These symptoms.
ADHD symptoms. Another one is screen time. How many of us, even adults, okay, much more for children, right? How many of us are addicted to our phones, to that screen time, to sit on that phone all day long or that computer playing video games? They say what is average is 6 to 8 hours.
Screen time. Yeah.
So
It's a lot.
if you have young kids that are playing 2 or more hours on video games are at higher risk.
They're complete higher risk. You see it when you go to different shops, little kids are on their tablets or mom's
Devices.
phone going
Quiet.
nonstop. But yet you're not learning how to operate in an environment. So it's just distracting you and creating more ADHD symptoms. It really is. And here's a problem overall. Those are what's hidden in plain sight. And no one wants to dive deep in them. And so when you feel the need to go to a doctor, what happens? You get a prescription thrown your way. And now you got the pharmaceutical system. You're trapped in it. And they get a lot of money from the symptom management and the environmental and lifestyle factors causing your ADHD symptoms.
Schools, they get funding the disability from the federal government. They get money for each case that comes through that school.
The Disability Educational Act.
Yes. Yeah. I know you were mentioning earlier today with the improved test scores, how it gives them more money.
Well, what happens is, so you get diagnosed with ADHD, then they are able to get more money because they can manage that specific case. And then you get better improved test scores because essentially how you report a test score is a little bit different. So you get more test time, perhaps. The test scores can also be dropped due to the No Child Left Behind Act way back in the Bush days.
Wow.
I think it was Bush. But yeah, that right there is basically leaving the children behind based upon that, because then you're teaching to the symptoms versus that true core child itself.
Right, and the child, if they're not learning.
They're not learning. If you don't change and you keep on doing what you're doing, the ADHD symptoms are going to worsen. And as well as that underlying trauma and inflammation, it's going to remain unaddressed.
And it's going to carry you on into your adulthood and create more problems for you.
Medication is going to be increasingly dependent.
Yeah. And some people feel like the medications help them, but they're not looking at the trauma. They're not really taking a deep dive as to why you're feeling this way.
The medications make it seem like just make you do not care anymore. They don't get to the true root of symptoms. You take a pain pill, they don't fix the source of the pain. The pain's still there. You just don't care about it anymore.
So does it get worse in terms of if somebody's taking medication and they basically don't care, but if that underlying trauma is not addressed, does that trauma get louder in their life?
It gets worse. It can totally get worse because you're not addressing it. And that's where you got to address it. So the breakthrough is going to come when your ADHD symptoms will dramatically improve when you actually address that true cause.
Okay.
So whether it's the trauma back when you had it or current trauma, eliminating inflammatory foods, getting better sleep, getting into a better supportive environment, you have to identify what is the cause. It takes some work. Maybe take a coach or something to help you get through it. A cognitive type of therapist. Gotta understand what is causing that feeling. You gotta dive deep. You got to get to the root cause. All right. And so when you do that, though, that's when you can start to introduce your natural healing approaches. Teach to regulate emotions by addressing all the environmental and lifestyle factors that drive the symptoms.
Right.
The outcome and the way you will start to live is well worth it.
Okay.
All right. So a complete natural approach is when you target those factors. So the inflammation, the nutrition, the sleep, the environmental, and you address them specifically, whatever it may be. So you got to identify first step, identify and address the underlying trauma. All right. So
environmental stress problems that trigger those symptoms.
Yeah. It could, it could be, at work. It could be anything.
But you have to be honest with yourself and do a deep dive and see where it's stemming from. Yeah. And if you can't do it on your own, like you said, you need to work with a therapist who can help you. And it's going to take time. It's not an overnight thing.
Not at all. But it's definitely a path forward. So that's number one. You got to identify it, that way you know how to tackle it and make the changes. The second thing is that you want to eliminate the inflammatory foods. And the simple ones are like the artificial additives.
Sugar, inflammatory foods, the seed oils, anything in a package that has too many ingredients that you cannot pronounce. That's not going to help you. You have to go for more simpler foods. If you're not into cooking, find foods that are healthier.
Low-fat, plant-based foods are what's going to stabilize the mood and your focus. It really is.
That's another one.
Third one is you want to establish consistent sleep schedules and a daily physical activity routine, because that's going to allow you to restore and replenish, burn some energy, but also you want to drastically limit your screen time.
So for people who claim they don't have time to work out, or they're physically incapable of working out for whatever reason, what do you say to that?
Take away your screen time.
Take away screen time. So basically, you have to look at your schedule and the things that where you wasting time in. Take away 10 minutes from screen time to move your body. And if you're physically, you have a handicap of some sort, you have to find something that will, some type of exercise that will help you. Because there's different exercise out there.
And all you have to do is look at your phone, go screen time. It's going to tell you how much time you wasted on a given day that you can allocate somewhere else.
Wow, that's a good one.
Next thing you want to do is, now that you know the hidden causes of the ADHD, you want to create that supportive environment at home and at work, just to accommodate your natural rhythms. You want things to accommodate the flow versus fight against them. So it's getting the routine. It's having the daily practices of physical activity, the yoga, the movement, the right eating, a nice, good family unit, meditation, mindfulness.
Sunlight.
Yes.
Surrounding yourself with positive people too, who are excited for you and will help cheer you on.
Push you up, not bring you down.
Okay.
And when you do all those things, that's when you start to get the reduction of that brain fog and that mental fatigue, and the inflammation will start to decrease. And you get overall better focus.
Oh, who doesn't want that? Emotional regulation, better focus, and better impulse control.
Completely. Well, exactly. Get rid of those ADHD symptoms, because now you're healing the underlying trauma and those environmental factors that were driving the symptoms to begin with.
So you improve relationships, emotional outbursts decreases, and the impulse moods, they decrease as well.
And you get better sleep. Everything just improves when you do things at the root cause and live in a natural, harmonic type of way. Externally, you're going to be more focused. You're going to be more organized, more emotionally stable in your relationships and within yourself, and just in your overall career.
You shift from feeling broken or defective to understanding and healing your unique nervous system, and you love yourself better.
And then you start to thrive in life, thrive with your family, inspire their family, lead their family, because you're addressing the root cause rather than just managing those ADHD symptoms.
And for children too, they would be more calm, in a better mood. That will make it easier for you and not as stressful for you.
So here's the key behind this whole episode is that most ADHD symptoms stem from a treatable environmental factor like trauma, diet, and lifestyle, rather than believing in some kind of permanent brain defect.
Natural healing through addressing the root causes can dramatically improve focus and emotional regulation.
And you will have the power to heal your nervous system by creating supportive environments.
So start by removing one inflammatory food this week, and notice how it affects your focus and your mood.
So comment below with your biggest ADHD challenge and share this episode with someone who needs to hear that healing is possible.
Thank you for watching. What's so funny? What's so funny?
I don't know.
Well, until next time, be well.
All right, take care.